Hello YouTube, this is that BMX guy. So this is probably the first real vlog of my 125R. I have plenty of ride videos so far, including this bike. Anyway, the latest addition to the bike is really the Velocity shiny side rims, or shiny black anodizing. And they're finally staying where they need to be. Like, it takes a while to get these rims to stay at the right tension or not make any noise as I'm pedaling down the road, because I start noticing the spokes loosen. So once they started seating in and feeling good, they're about right. The other kind of new addition is the JW Products chain tensioner. I'm only using one, but it's doing fine. It just holds the wheel still, and that's all I got to do. It's an easy off one where you just unscrew the bolt and just pop it out, pop the wheel forward, pull the chain off. And when you want to put the tire back on or wheel back on, you put it back on and just pop it right back on, and it's already adjusted. That's one of the things I like about this kind of chain tensioner. You don't have to really mess with it after you change your tire or a tube or anything like that. The bike's at about 800 miles right now. And I think the other addition was this titanium seat post that I'm using to sit down on. I just like being able to sit down and pedal fast and not just be stuck standing. There are certain people that sit there and say, oh, I do 20 miles a day on my BMX, and I stand up the whole time. Okay, have fun with your back. And then there's one of those guys that uses the new school geometry with the 21.5 top tube, so it's like doing a push-up as you're pedaling the bike, because that's how long the bike feels. I don't get that. I just don't really understand how that's comfortable to anyone. And it puts all your body weight on the front wheel too, so I don't really understand how the hell's racing, because you're sitting there jumping and all your weight's on the fork. And what that does is if you do hit the fork on a jump or you case, I figured you just hurt yourself even more because of how stiff the bikes are made for racing. Like, if you got a carbon fork, carbon frame, carbon bars, it's intended to be extremely stiff. And if you use that on the street, you're just feeling all those bumps. The whole reason why I had the titanium fork and bar is that it absorbs almost everything. And keeping a steel frame, making it out of light materials that are not overly thick, overly beefy, makes it so it absorbs a lot of the road shock. The titanium seat post does the same thing. Well, anyway, the real gist of the video is that I bought this Physique Antares on a closeout price. Now, I didn't really know about these seats, and I was kind of like stuck with Physique's Alliance seats. Now, this is the newer Alliance. That's the same age as that. That's a 2019. This is a 2018 seat. And the seats are kind of, I don't know what you call it, a high performance racing seat. But this is intended to be for the bull. Now, I don't have the other seat that I'm used to, which is the Alliant VS, which kind of has a groove in the middle. But I tried this out because I kind of misordered it. It was supposed to be a VS too, but I tried a VS later, and the VS groove thing on the newer seats is really bad. Like, this seat, it feels okay, but after a while, the nose I just get annoyed with because it sticks up too far, because they kind of made it so, I guess you got to stick your seat like this for it to be right on their website. Like, they say to put your seat like this. So if you put your seat like this with an upright seating position like I have on my BMX, it makes it so your balls are falling right on top of this part the whole time, and the seat's very uncomfortable. And that's why I kind of pivoted this way, so that I'm on the flat part and it's upright. The problem is it's too upright because of that nose. And it's like how the 80s plastic seats used to be, where you sort of had to put them like this, where they really felt like shit sitting down them. Well, that's the same thing with this. But this other seat, the Antares, it's kind of a flatter profile. So if you stick the rear end of the seat flat and level, there's barely any nose to it. And the way it's designed, it's intended to be more movable. Like it says it's for the snake or something like that. I forget which one it's for. It's the chameleon, the snake, and the bull. The chameleon's really flexible, I guess. Or whatever, I don't even know anymore. But the Antares is the middle one, the not so flexible one, but not too flexible. And what it does is it makes it so when if you're sitting right here and you just feel like there's too much pressure, you can move back a little bit and it will relieve pressure that way and make it feel okay. And you can keep moving around on the seat a little bit and it doesn't feel bad. I never tried the Arione, which is the most flexible seating arrangement. But they say that those Ariones are better for like mountain biking because you kind of have to move around the seat because you're going over a bumpy terrain. This seat, on the other hand, yeah, it's okay. It just gets caught on my pants too much because it sticks up too high. They are very light seats. I can't say that they are heavy at all. Like, you have a 3-ounce seat post, if it's even that heavy. And then you have an almost 2-ounce seat. And that's lighter than any pivotal post and seat combined. Even if it's a stumpy little thing, it's still, this long ass seat post and seat is still fucking lighter than any of those fucking pivotal seat posts and seats. And the pivotal seats aren't intended to be sat on pedaling. They're just intended to be like just a cushion to land on. So I don't like using pivotal seats because they go, like I said, they probably, you know how this is angled, but the way they are, they kind of usually have a flat profile, so they either look like they're pointing down or look like they're pointed up because that's how their adjustment is. They're kind of like this kind of adjustment with this pivotals. And there's no, I guess there is a pivotal seat, but I bought this so I can use with my frames if I do want to race. But yeah, the animal seat is probably one of the softer pivotal seats, but they either go all the way, like I guess if you looked at it from the side normally, it'd be like that or like that. Like that's the adjustment from one groove to the other. That's kind of why I don't like the pivotal seats, because they're not really that adjustable. But this old, at least 10-year-old animal seat is still made today. Like they still make these seats. I guess they're that good because they are pretty decent. The main reason why the pivotals are better is because they don't have rails to bend. But instead the seat just shatters to pieces after a while because it's plastic. But whatever. This is marketing strategy on part of the bicycle world. Anyway, the bike is riding great. I lately been using this water bottle / candy bar holder. It's good for holding like little candy bars too. You can also put your phone right inside of it if you don't want to use your bottle. I still got the Garmin on there, and the clipless pedals are doing okay. They're just XTR clipless pedals. I guess Dynanos are kind of being phased out as a tire that's folding. So I bought a new tire that's going to go on here after I got 1,000-something miles on the bike. And they're called the Dynamo 1. They're still 20 by 1.1. So they're going to be basically the same. They're supposedly tubeless ready ones too, but I think I bought the non-tubeless ready ones. I'm not really sure if I want to do tubeless ready on this bike. Or tubeless period. Like, it just sounds like it's too much of an issue if the tire does pop and doesn't want to hold air. Well, anyway, I do got another chain ready. I usually buy this X1. It is a very high performance single speed 3/32 chain that doesn't destroy my teeth on my sprockets. I find that 1/8" chains kind of like, when I look at the rear cog, I can see it like walking side to side. When it's doing that, it's kind of wearing out the teeth faster. The chain itself wears out faster too, so it's better to use 3/32 chains with 3/32 chain rings and rear cogs. And there's, like I said, 900 miles since I put this frame together with the new chain and cog. So I usually just change the chain and cog every MS-150 like I change with the tires. Other than that, like, nothing really goes wrong with the bike. I do got, this is the new cog right here. This is the profile cog. I'm gonna try using the profile cogs, I guess, since, like, I can't seem to get the surly rear cogs anymore. And I don't want to spend $50 on an Onyx cog that's just probably gonna wear just as long as this profile one, which might be 500 miles at the most. There's nothing American made as a sprocket seems to be really good. So I'll figure it out as I go along. I did recently acquire this Spin Doctor touring stand, so if you guys are complaining about me using the bike as a touring stand, or unliking my video all because of the touring stand not being an actual touring stand, well, here you go. I got a touring stand. And you know why I got it? Because I didn't have to pay for it. Someone just gave it to me. I'm not going to spend $200 on something that I don't really use that often, even though it does seem like I'm using a touring stand a lot lately. But, you know, most of the time I'm not building wheels. Like, I think the wheel building craze is just because of these stupid new rims. And I say stupid because, in a way, it's just losing weight on the bike and wasting my money. But yeah, I got the Spin Doctor guy, so I got an actual touring stand, if that matters to people. If anyone's wondering what I did with the old Totem hub, well, it's right here. I may just lace it and put it on something as like a collector bike, because that's what you do with your old parts. You just put them on old bikes. I may just lace this to another Rhino light, and then just put them on that Chrome Speedwagon as, you know, a bike built for 2013. I do have the 4-bolt Spider here, the Elite Ring. All that stuff came out about the same time, around 2013, 2012. So I can literally build a bike with a lot of parts anyway. I still got this dirt bike, next generation dirt bike, with my old Odyssey dirt forks coalition stem that I had forever, since 2004. I think the forks I bought in 2006 after I got hit by a car. I think the first time, or a couple weeks after getting them, I kind of tweaked them a little bit, hitting the log on the road because I couldn't see it. But they seem to be still straight, but when you look at it the other way, it kind of looks like one leg's bent back, because I hit that log pretty hard at high speed. There are another set of forks back there, and that's the black standard handlebar. I'm looking for another standard handlebar if anyone has an 8-inch standard handlebar uncut in black or bare or raw, or just needs to be painted. It doesn't really matter. The RV is a project. It's still fixed gear. I just gotta get a spindle and maybe another crank for it. I was gonna widen out the back by jacking out, making it 120, so I can use the new and improved profile fixed free hub on the rear of that thing. It's gonna stay no brakes. I think eventually I'm gonna do something where I cut the brake mounts off of that guy and make it so there's nothing there. Maybe cut the guides off. I have so many of these RVs, it doesn't really matter. I already modified it with that dimple, so it's just going to be a dedicated frame with no brakes eventually, and I'll just repaint it again. I took the Dynamo. I took that thing off the other bike. In the last trip to Atsign, I was finding it, the only thing really good for was kind of keeping the charge up on the jam box. But when I was trying to charge phones or trying to charge anything else. It just wasn't really charging anything. Like, yeah, I guess it charges a battery, but you gotta keep it plugged in the whole time. You gotta keep moving for like hours upon hours and not have to stop. So it takes a very long time to charge batteries if you're kind of stopping and starting. Anyway, this is just an update on the 125R. Oh, and then I do have another frame coming, so I ordered a black one. It's going to be the exact same geometry, and I'm going to set it up to be maybe an actual racing looking bike. I'm not going to race. I don't race. I just don't find racing interesting to do. Mainly because, like, I don't want to pay money to wait in line to race not even a minute, actually. This is a minute long race. I never really got racing. I never really found it to be interesting to do. I mean, the RC racing, it's okay because you're out there for maybe 5 minutes after you wait an hour. But then even that got kind of tiring and just aggravating with the wait. Because you're just waiting around after you paid all that money to race. And you're paying all that money to stay competitive and everything else. It's just like racing in general just really blows. But yeah, the bike isn't a BMX to some people. I know some people are like, oh, it's only a BMX if you have a low seat and no front brake. Well, guess what? Fuck you. It's whatever you want it to be. It's a 20-inch bike. BMX doesn't mean the same thing to everybody. It could mean freestyle. It could mean F1. It could be just riding around. Like, some people do that. A lot of people do that, actually. When you're older and have responsibilities, you have to just ride around. You can't just do things anymore. If you hurt yourself and you're out of work, you can go homeless. And most people don't want to do that. I mean, understand how the real world is. Most people have things to do with themselves that are important. The bike, if they just want to have a BMX to have a cool bike like I do, and just want to ride around, let people do that. I don't know what the hell's wrong with people when they just tell you to do bikes with their own way, you know, like, to tell people to do certain things, it's just proving that you're an asshole. That's all. Like, I don't know what, there was one comment about the seat post. Oh, it's not BMX because it's a long seat post. Well, whoever that guy is, maybe he can go kill himself. That's all I can say. Anyway, this is that BMX guy, and thanks for watching.